Hello, good evening, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Where are we today? Today, yes, it's one of those wingets. I have two ideas for tonight, and you know when you sit there and think, shall I do this, shall I do that? And I was chatting to one of my buddies overseas, another demonstrator, and I went with this one. So hey, we will share another project for you today. As we approach the festive season, we're now starting to get into the realms of November is just around the corner. So with November brings a little bit of panic stations as to get these cards done quickly for Christmas and get them in the post, or meet up with people and hand them out as you see them as soon as possible. So avoiding the postage costs, which here in the UK have just hiked again, really gone up. So let's crack on and get you down onto the table, and I'll show you a last minute change of colours as well. So this is going to go well today. Hey, you know Sandra, don't you? You know me. So I'm going to talk, I've chosen last minute to use these papers. It's A Walk in the Forest. I have shown them to you before. They are featured in the mini catalogue. And there's a double page spread here. You've got Sarah over here, and it's showing you the products it coordinates with. Now I do have the polar bear, but I want to do a layout that I've seen a long while ago, and that was on my radar to do on one of these sessions. So I just wanted to remind you that making a difference, Stampin' Up are very good with their give back schemes. And with this paper, £2.50 from the sale of each packet of, it's £11.75 for 12 sheets of 12 by 12. So £2.50 of that will go to support organisations. In different markets, it's different organisations. And here in the UK, it's the Salvation Army. Okay, it is a wonderful, sweet Linda. Yeah, hi. I've got the polar bears and I've got some other things to do with them, but hey, it's a case of juggling time and which is going to go first. So that might be next week's project, the polar bear. So this, I just wanted to point out again to you that the give back, the Stampin' Up give back is one of those promotions on these papers. So if you do like them, then just jump in there. So I'm going to pick out a couple of these papers in here. I don't know that I've got everything in 6 inches. These ones, what I'm doing tonight, you need two papers, two sides, fronts and backs, or two different papers. They're going to work well together. And you really want to have an all over design. You don't want to have trees that are one way up, because when you turn something back, you're going to do this way and that way. The trees will be upside down. Beautiful snowflakes on the back here. Love them to bits, but not for this one. And again, trees, there is a right and a wrong way on the trees. So we don't want upside down trees. This one would work with the blues on the back, but there's not really so much blues in here. So I'm kind of erring with the one at the back here. So these are trees again, so lovely papers, but I don't want upside downs. This is the one I want to use. This one here is trees again. So this one is going to be my paper for tonight. It's got garden green on this side, but it has the foliage on this side, which I really love for Christmas. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do today. Hi Frances, nice to see you. So I'm going to put those back in my packet. I've got a 6 inch square there. I'm just going to double check that is a 6 inch. Yes, it is. Now, what we're going to do today is I'm going to use the baby trimmer. Now, I did get that out. It is sitting here and it's hidden. I've just gone and retrieved it. So where? Here, under my nose. There we go. Mini trimmer is good. So I'm going to zoom you in a little bit more so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is a cross the fingers moment. Okay, I'm looking at having rectangles on here, so I want some rectangles. I'm going to cut these papers. The 6 inch papers go in our little trimmer, so I'm going to cut these at 2 inches. I'm going to get some strips going. Okay, so 2 inches that way, and again another strip at 2 inches. I'm doing this on a 6 inch piece of card, but you would equally as well be able to do it with a 12 inch Postage is only the first class that's gone up. Second class is the same. Oh, that does help. I thought that everything had gone up, and parcels have definitely gone up. So I've not had to post one myself, but I've been told that the parcels have gone up. Well, so I will pop to the post office. I need to go tomorrow. I'm now cutting this way. I've got 2 inches this way and 1 3/4 across the top. So I'm going to put these to one side. 1 3/4, 1 3/4, and I want it in the format, if I move over, of an AB, AB, or AB, BA. That makes sense. So I'm cutting 4 pieces at 1 3/4. You will get some tiny little pieces left over, but you know me, I will hang on to those. So I'm going to do a last one here at 1 3/4, and that's going to be that way up. Now I could just continue and do these pieces, so I've got ready for another card. Okay, so that's 1, that's 2, cutting at 1 3/4. So again, you've got a AB and a BA. So if you think of your patterns, there's 2 different ones. I'm choosing to use 1 piece of paper and using front and backs. You don't have to do it that way. I've got a bigger piece here, and I'll leave that intact because there's 1 card here and 1 to do up there as well. So I'll pop those back in there, and that little scrappy piece. You know, if you watch me regularly, you'll know that I do quite a bit with my scraps. So I'm just going to push those out of the way up there. If we get time, we'll make another one. So this is my pattern, okay? Now I'm going to grab my ruler. I had that to hand, and a pencil. Monday the 2nd of October, price increased with first and second class large letters. Some of the other Royal Mail service affected by these prices. Thanks ever so much, Helen. Good to post in there. Thanks for doing that for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is measure up here. Now, depending on how you want your design to work, you know what? Oh, nobody's shouted yet. I'm not on a white backing, am I? I have a dirty mat here, so I will tear off last ones on there. I use that for other things, so let's just have a white surface. That makes it life easier for you. So I'll lay those out again. So we're going to be that way on. So where I've got my square in the middle, it's actually going to play helpful for me. I'm going to mark up a measured amount on each side. Now you want it big enough. I'm going to make a little square in here that's going to be stamping a sentiment. So I want to mark these as 1 3/4 on here. Okay, oh, well, sorry, 1 1/4, and then 1 1/4 up this side as well. So you've got a dot between there and there. Now what you're going to do is put your ruler across. I need my glasses, sorry. When you've got a printed pattern, it's very difficult sometimes to actually see where the pencil marks are. So there's 1 there and there's 1 there. Okay, now a tip that I learned was to fold this up against the edge. So you've got a 1 1/4 here and a 1 1/4 there. And now I just need my bone folder, and I'm just going to anchor that down. Okay, so that's 1. Now we're going to do the same on the other ones. Okay, now I'm going to just mark those little pencil dots up there. So it's 1 1/4. Okay, and 1 1/4 along the bottom. You want to kind of do them in situ so that you don't get your patterns muddled up. Okay, I'm just trying not to get my head in the way for you. She says, I did mark that on the other side. It's so faint. Yes, it's there. When you, as I said, when you get pattern papers like this, it can be very hard to see where those edges are. Hence, I needed my glasses on. Okay, so I'm just creasing that along the edge there, and then I'm going to bone folder it and make it sure it's nice and crisp, and there's 2 pieces. Okay, so I'm going to do the same this way. We're doing it to make a little window. Okay, there's a little bit of measuring involved, but if you were going to do mass produce this for your Christmas cards, what I would suggest that you do is to make a little template. You can actually cut a 1 1/4 inch square. In fact, we could do that for the second card, couldn't we? So just going to press along the edge. So now if I got a piece of scrap, I've got a white card in front of me, but I've got a piece of red I'm sure I could find, and make a 1 1/4 out of that. Let's just show you how I mean. Okay, It's always good to learn, isn't it? So just check that this is 1 1/4. 1 1/4 there. So I'm going to turn it round a bit so I don't waste. So 1 1/4 and 1 1/4. Okay, so that's the size that I need. So that is this gap in the middle here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to measure from there to there. So you can literally put a mark there and a mark there. So you haven't got to keep measuring it. You're just going to use those 2 pencil dots. Okay, lift that up, press it along the edge, and then we've got our square. Okay, so there we are. There is the basis of my card. Any tips on measuring is good. Just making a little template. I've made my own template. I couldn't really cut it as a triangle. I was just wondering whether it would work. But you actually, if it was the triangle, you'd want to be folding over the triangle, wouldn't you? Unless you made one. And there's another way of doing it. Look, let's just do this. Linda wants some help with measuring. I'm going to make a 2 inch, 2 inches that way, and 1 1/4 this way. I'm thinking of you all mass producing Christmas cards. So we're going to have, that didn't work, did it? No, I didn't want 2 1/4. I need a bigger piece. Don't know if I've got any left in here actually. These are all my scraps. There we go, that will be big enough. So let's start by 2 inch. By 1 7/8 was the piece, wasn't it? Okay, so get those little bits out. I can keep those, and that one can go in the bin. That's gone. So if we mark it out on here, we're going to mark out at 1 1/4 there, 1 1/4 there. Okay, I'm now going to cut that corner off. Just need to get my glasses in focus. So I'm just getting on the edge of my trimmer here. I've got the dot on that face and the dot on this face, okay, the end of those. And chop that away this time. Okay, so we've tried that one. We've tried cutting a corner away. And then what we will do, if I bring one of these over from the other card, if I lay this piece on here and get it lined up, all we've got to do is just crease it up like so. Oh, I'm off the camera, sorry. So if we lay the template, you can put a big T for template, okay, and then lay that up in the corner and then just bend this over, okay, and then you're at the bone folder like this, and you've got the same as I've got on that piece. All you've got to remember is you've got to turn it over. So there's a template on this side as well. Depends on which way round you're going. If that's the piece, you go that way. If that's the piece, you go that way. If this is the piece, you go that way. Okay, does that make sense? Hi Anne, you can go back and watch. We're just doing this layout for a card, and I have bone folded these down. I'm just going to do it a little again. But I've just made a template. If you're going to do these and mass produce them, you can actually, let's do it on these ones. So this was the other card that I had ready to do. So that's the layout. So these are our 2 inches by 1 7/8. Now I've made a template by marking 1 1/4 and 1 1/4, which is what we were measuring here. As long as I'm happy that that's lined up, all I'm going to do is bend that along the edge. Okay, and there's one. This one has got to go that way because it's got to go upwards. Okay, so I'll turn it round just for ease. Get those nice and square and fold that up. Okay, bone folder it, and that's that one. Okay, and then this one, last one here, we want that one to come that way up. Okay, it's going to go over. So make your little template, line up on the edges like so, and then fold that edge over. Okay, and there's our second card. So the fact that you've done a template now, you can throw those out really, really quickly. You need to keep your fours together. Okay, that's all I'll say, is keep your fours together, so otherwise you'll end up folding some the wrong way and you'll have them in the wrong edges of fold. So some I did that way and that way. These two had to turn over that way and that way. Okay, but that's by far your quickest way of doing it. So there we go. There's my second card prepped now as well. There you go. So let's set out on what we're going to do next. I had thought I might do a little bit extra on this one, but it doesn't have to be very... I'm just going to put these in a square like this. I want to get a sentiment that's going to fit in the side, in the centre of that one. Okay, so we will have a look and see what we've got. I have my Christmas sets out. Check the hauls. Those ones are bigger. It needs to be on the diamond, that's the other thing. And you could have that this way on or put it landscape. This is a portrait card, but you could turn it on that way and have it landscape. You could change the sizes of these according to what you wanted. You could have longer pieces, wider pieces, depending on what card you wanted to make. Okay, so I hope that that works for you. I'm thinking of having this colour as the background. I do like the peacock. So I have two colourways. I put one set of colours to my left and one set of colours to my right, because I thought that might help me. Okay, so that could be our back card. You know, I like to keep one ready-made. I have some white layers. Just see what I've got here. Is that an actual layer for the card? Yes, it is. Now, how would that look, but with some texture on it, and have this in here into the corners, like so, or have, I want it to be a square format really. So let me think. I've got some real red as well, which is this red on here. Just grab a piece of that. Let's see what we can do with this. So we could actually mat that onto there, or we could have a red layer. Let's go with a red matte layer. Just going to have to get the bigger trimmer for that. Just going to check on the red, make sure that that wasn't a cherry. Just a sec. You know, on the back of all our papers, it tells us on here. We've got, it is cherry, look, balmy blue, cherry cobbler, garden green, old olive, pecan pie, and pretty peacock. So it's cherry that I need, not the real red, just to get the right shade. So that was this side. So I'm kind of erring now towards a cherry matte layer and then a white piece. So that could be on there and then embossed maybe, but we're doing quick and easy, so I wanted it to be quick. So we won't emboss, but I'll show you what it could look like. So this is going to be my 14.3 by 10 on here. There we go. Okay, so we could have the full layer, or we could just go to the size that we wanted that card to be. Okay, so if we now make this into a square, if we bring that back, if I want that to be into those corners, we just leave ourselves enough of a gap so we've got an even border all the way around, and the same here. So this is going to make my square. So I think I want to have this as a 10 centimetres that way, I'm sure. I'll just check on here. Yes, 10 centimetres. I'm going to make that into a square by cutting it the other way at 10 as well. Okay, we'll do this. There we go. I told you I was winging it again, didn't I? So now we're going to put these four onto here. And they're going to have a regular border around the outside edges. Oh. Oh, it's not 10, is it? Because it's a rectangle. Sorry, guys. It was 10 that way, wasn't it? Let's just start that one again. Because these are longer than this way, I do need a different shape. So if I put those in there again like so, and those are going to come up to be the same borders through the middle, through the sides, I'm going to want to have that along here at a little bit either side. So I want that one to be 11 that direction. So let's just cut that again. Easily done. Okay, the 10 centimetre square will not go wasted. Okay, let's have a go with that one. I am going to get these down there and there. with a little bit of a border. You might not be able to see white on white now. And then this way, one on there. Okay, and one on there. Just check if that's going to be big enough for us. See, I like that. I am liking that. So I'm going to get those down now on there. I'm going to get those stuck down. So I need my tweezers. Hi, Shaz. She has been in. She has been, yeah, treat monster monkey today. And my Tombow, there we go. So I'm going to take them one at a time. And now how you put them on here is entirely up to you. You can do some 3D. I'm going to show you how you can either just leave these flaps loose. Okay, I'm just leaving that tiny little border around the outside edge. I'm just going to line up with this one and make sure I'm even. Yep, so I'm going to do that one next. These flaps here, if you wanted to give it some texture but didn't want them flapping in the way, I'm going to put on the back of that, I'm going to put a little dimension, the little baby dimensionals, little minis. So, but that's an optional extra. If you wanted to keep to your quick, then you might not want to do that. Okay, so that's in. They're lined up there, lined up on the borders. Then come around this one. And you've got the same border in there and the same up from the bottom. And then this last one. So once you've got your little template, I can see this could be a really quick one. And imagine doing it with a 12-inch sheet, and you can then whiz round and cut all those little pieces out really quickly. Okay, so I'll just press all of those down. Now, I could then cut this red to be like so and have that as a centerpiece. I think now I'm going to do that. So I want the greeting in here, so I'm going to cut this at just that 0.5 centimetre bigger. So if this is 10 that way, I think I'm going to want, that's, oh, not going on the right way, am I? 9.5, and we've gone to 10, and this is 11, so I'm going to go to 11.5. Okay, just keeping it that 0.5 centimetre bigger. Let's just say 11.5, didn't I? Yeah, and that's got a nice little border on that. Look at that. Isn't that looking good? I'm really liking that. So that's on there. You could, now it's up to whether you want to place it. You could place that in the centre so it fills some of your space. You could have had a matte layer on there. I have a piece here that I had got some texture on. So this could also be, if you wanted to texturize it, you could have, it's not big enough, but I just wanted to show you what it could look like if you wanted to brighten it up a little bit. Okay, but going the full width. Okay, so it'd have a little border around there. But I think with the red just coming to that 0.5, I don't think I really need it. Or one more option is to try it on a white card. This is a thick white, and you know that I keep my spares at the back of my my cut pieces. So that could look like that on a white. Hi Sandra, that could look like that on a white. If I wasn't putting a sentiment in the middle, I'd be inclined to do that and put the sentiment down here. But I'm kind of going to look for that next, I think. So we've got the choices of a peacock or a white. I'm going to stamp in peacock. I just want to find a suitable greeting to go in the centre there. Now, I'm not sure whether these are going to be the right size for me. So, we've got Deck the Halls. We'll deck the halls. Oh, this is Peace on Earth. Oh, Peace on Earth will fit. Or we have Deck the Halls. Okay, Deck the Halls is a nice one for Christmas, isn't it? Is that going to just fit in there? That will just fit. Just. Peace on Earth might be better, but I've also Tidings of Comfort and Joy. Now that, I think, is going to fit better. Okay. I do have things like, you could put foliage in there. You could actually put some decoration in there first, and then have this onto the sentiment could come along the bottom. So then you've got a mixture going on there. But I think I'm going to do the Tidings of Comfort and Joy. Okay, we're trying to be quick on these. So now I've worked one out, it will be a case of then I could churn several of these out and just keep mass producing. Certainly those starting pieces, you could cut the whole of a 12-inch piece of a DSP and papers, and you could just churn out lots of little boxes, and then you could sit on a lap tray at home and just fold all these pieces back. Okay, if you had your layers cut beforehand, you could fold them over, stick them down, fold them over, stick them down. Then you could mat and layer and do your sentiments and things later on. But I think that might look nice on a white card. Pop that in the centre like so. You could even, I might work on some sizes to use for note cards as well. Just mean adjusting the sizes slightly. So I need a vote from you. Do you like it onto the peacock or onto the white? Okay, on there. So we have a dilemma now. So I'm going to leave you doing that for a second. I haven't got any of these foliage pieces cut ready. I'm going to see if I could do that. I'm just going to grab my Stamparatus. When you get things like this, it's really good idea to stamp them on your Stamparatus because, oops, Rosie, I need that. I'm right-handed, so I'm just going to have to move that over. So yeah, doing it on the Stamparatus, you can hold it in place. Nothing is going to slip. And it's nearly foolproof, so I won't say anything's totally foolproof because you'll guarantee when I say it's foolproof, then it will go wrong. So I'm just going to pop that in there, pick up my sentiment, and I'm going to stamp it in the peacock, as I said. So you can all see me, can't you? Because I zoomed in so you could see it because it's working closer. Peacock, peacock, peacock. All right, that's a bit unanimous then. Thanks, ladies. Shaz, yes, I did. And for a totally different reason. I will keep that anonymous, but yes, we both know who we're talking about. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that was really good. There we go. I've stamped that twice. I probably didn't need to, but I wanted to make sure it popped out really, really strong. So I've done peacock on there. And you've all unanimously, and you're still carrying on, look. I'll clean that later. Gone for the peacock with my white. Okay. So we're going to pop that on there, and it needs to be in the middle. Like I say, I've got the foliage, the sentiment on there. Otherwise, you could raise it up so it's nearer the top and put a sentiment down the bottom there. Put some foliage, fill anything in the middle there. So I'm going to get that down, and I'm keeping it flat because I'm going to have the dimension. I'm going to put those little mini dimensionals on there for you so you can see what I mean. So get that roughly in the middle, top to bottom. Okay, little tiny border because we know we're going to have a tiny little border the other side. There we go, and that's all down. So you can use your bone folder just to press that down, press on these again, make sure it's all nice. And then, if I get my dimensionals, here she is. Your audience awaits, lovey. Oh, not enough card. There you go. Oops, there she is. She's back. So I'm going to use the little minis. I only want a little tiny piece in the corners of those. So you literally pop it on the middle of the flap so you can't see it, and then pop them back. Okay, in the middle of the flap, take off your backing and pop it back. Really simple. But again, this is something you could do on a lap tray, isn't it? So guess what? This might be one of mine. Oh, we've got both of them in here now. Hello, boys. So, how do you like that one then? Hello, Smudgy Kitty. We've got Smudgy Kitty and we've got Tigsy Kitty. Tig's the baby. Yeah, I held him up on camera last night to somebody, and he's not such a baby, is he? He's huge. He's a monkey. I might just, because we have time, I'm going to do the second one for you and just recap. And I'll have my layers. So I will recap on the measurements for the layers if you want to write these down, or I can write them in here for you. got a pen. So my measurements started off with 2 inches, your square, your rectangle's 2 inches by 1 7/8. Okay, that was these square pieces. I'm going to zoom you out a bit now. Now you've seen it once. There we go. So these started off 2 inches by 1 7/8. So I cut the 2-inch strips. If you're using a 12-inch piece, you'll get lots more in one go. Okay, so that's 2 inches by 1 7/8. So that's your starting point with your rectangles. You're going to measure up the sides on 2 sides. 2 sides, you're measuring up 1 1/4 inches. Okay, the only reason I've done these in inches is because I started off with 6-inch square papers. Okay, so you're going to measure up there and you're going to take your corner off. So if you sort of like draw a little diagram, that's what you're going to end up with. Okay, on one, and this piece is then going to come over into the middle, turn itself back. Okay, so they're the only measurements. Then the matte layers I had for the white, I then went to centimetres because my card is in centimetres on metric. So the card base, the layers, I'll put on here layers, and then you can take a screenshot. Layers 9.5 times the white, this is the white, times 11. Sorry, my glasses are on my head. That is your white layer. And then the cherry is just going to be 1/2 centimetre bigger. So that is 11.5 here. 11.5 centimetres for cherry. And it'll be by 10. Okay, so that's your 2 layers and the standard card for the rest of it. So let's just do all of that again. I'm going to put it onto there. Is that the right width? Oh yes, you're kind to me, aren't you? So cats have gone now, so I can use my chair again. So we have 10 this way already. I'm going to go 11.5. Okay, so that's that one. And then a piece of cherry. If I can use pieces in here, I do. I need to get some of these out and put in my scraps box. The scraps were a little bit full, so I had to leave some in here. I don't think I've got any bits in there big enough. Just have a shorter piece. So the cherry is going to be 10 by 11.5. So 10 down and 11.5 across. There we go, they can go. And that's all we need, isn't it? So there we go. So these two are going to come together. So mat those together on, she says. Where have I gone wrong? 9.5. 9.5 by 10. I've gone too big. There we go. 9.5 by 11. Where have I gone? Yeah, I've gone over that. I went 11.5. So this is 9.5 by 11. What I've written down is correct. So 9.5 by 11, and that's going to fit on my mat layer. Yay! So I'll get that one down because we're not going to do anything else with it. If you were doing a lot of these again, you could actually get everything lined up and make sure that you line up to the correct layer you're putting in your Stamparatus. So don't, having lined that up there, don't then go and put it on just your white layer. So this is going to fit in the centre of that piece. Okay, so you could stamp those first if you wanted, but I think by putting it in the corners like this, it's just making it, making sure that it's going to fit before you actually stamp it. That one and that one. Okay, so let's get those down. Love the card design. Oh, thanks, Pam. I didn't use your decal circles. I will get those. I've got them here. I will just show people when I finish. I'll get to show the decal circles. Pam's just asked me about those today, and they were a new addition to my repertoire this week. They arrived, so it's quite ironic that we were talking about them, and I haven't had a chance to play with them yet. So I might give it a play over the weekend and then maybe use them on Sunday. Don't forget, guys, if you've got a request that you want to put in, then please feel free just to ask. And if I've got products and if I can build it in, then I'll build it in for you. In some ways it makes my life easier because I kind of like target as I know exactly what we're going to be using instead of winging it like tonight. Okay, you can adjust these sizes, as I said, use different ones, work it out to what you want to do for your cards, what size you like to send. I have some people who do like to send big square cards. Now, I'm not a big square person, girl, because we don't have the envelopes to fit. I know we can make our own, but sometimes it needs to just be the standard sizes. Okay, so I'm going to do a double check. Hold that down there. I'm going to do a double check and just make sure that that is okay in the middle there. Yes, it is. Okay, so we'll bring on the peacock. Okay. What am I using that one for? Bone folder won't do that, will it? We don't need that one there. Okay, and I'll do it again because I want it to really pop quite dark. Love Pretty Peacock. I'm so glad it came back. There we go. That's been done twice. Okay, so it's going to be one of those quick cards that you're going to be able to churn out. And this is on the white, so there is a lot of whiteness on there. Just because, girls, we've got time and it's the last layer to do, I'm going to cut you, I will get back to those, I'm going to cut you a piece of the basic white and we are going to do the whole cover layer. If you wanted to make it a little bit more exotic, we haven't put gems on either. So if I cut this to the size of my whole card front, it's going to be 14.85, exactly a quarter sheet by 10.5. Okay, pop those aside. Then I'm going to run this through the big machine. Oops, daisy. Now, I like dainty. I do like the embossing folders. I do like them dainty. Oh, wrong way. Sorry, I'm trying to get you out a bit. There we go. So this was one of the three that we had from the basics. You know, the basics says one of three, two of three. So I like this one, this little crosshatch. It's so dainty. But depending on your papers, you could see this one here as a poinsettia. So there's a bit of weight in using that one. But on this one, I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. Slide that in there. It is one of the the thicker ones, the 3D ones. So I'm going to take these two layers out, pop that on the bottom, and then pop the plate number 4 on the top here. There's number 4. Okay, you all get to know your own machines and you know how they work. Great investment, the deckled circles, excellent. Pam and I will be very pleased to hear that. So I just take that out, leave that on the floor again. Don't need those. So I do love this design. Look at this. Look how dainty. This was the one that made me buy the trio of embossing folders. This is on the this is on the online exclusives. So if I lay that completely covering that card and then we pop that on there, doesn't that just take away that plainness? If I bring that up to the screen, it just gives it that extra little bit of something. So we're going to cover the whole of that layer. It is adding more work. But if you wanted to do quick cards, but you wanted to, for your cutting wise, this is a good one to do. Folding in front of your telly, watching a film, with your little template, of course. Make yourselves nice and easy job. I have got someone up on the stairs. I thought so. That's the naughty boy. So then I'm going to stick this one on. Be quite generous with your adhesive because you are going over bumpy surface. So you want to make sure there's a good coverage on there. Make sure it's opening the right way for the sentiment. It's not upside down in Australia land. So a tiny border that side. Just check it before it goes down. Tiny border that side. There we go. If you want to, you can turn it over and then press hard on the back. Okay, and there's our card. So I'm going to grab those mini dimensionals again. And just pop those on the back of each of the... If you pop it in the middle of the triangle, it makes it easier for you take the back off and turn it over. If you do it here, you don't know where the border's going to be. So one in the middle, take it off and push it back. There's no alignment needed then. Okay, I know I make it look simple, but honest it is. Just peel off the back in the middle of the triangle and push it back. Nothing else to it. There we go. Now we could grab some gems, couldn't we? Shaz, I'd love to see what you've done with your decals, your circle decals, because like I say, they're brand new. I've not had them out of the packet yet, other than to put them on the magnetic sheet. These are the festive pearls, and I think these are going to be right for me today. So these have been used and abused, so I've tried to keep the plastic on these ones and make sure that they don't get knocked off. So I use my tweezers and just take those off. So we could put a couple in the middle there and just take some of the plainness off. I'm going to go opposites on there, and if we wanted some on the outside we could put 5 on there, couldn't we? 1, 2. That probably wasn't the best placement, Sandra. On there, that's kind of in line with that one, isn't it? So we'll put one in the green, we'll put another one in this green somewhere over here. There we go. Pop those away so they don't, these ones seem to knock off the edges quite easy. Okay, and there's our second one. So let's bring back the first. You didn't have any decoration, did you? So we'll do the same on here. So take off a couple of those. Very, very quick to grab hold of with the tweezers. One on there, one on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can stick one there, can't we? There we go. So in a different place. So I hope you liked those. I think the feeling was quite good there. What's a decal? Okay, I'm going to show you the decal edges now. So looking at those cards, they look totally different. It changes the proportion of the card because the white gets lost a little bit. It brings it forward more on this one. So you've got 2 totally different looks there. I'll take a photo and they'll be popped up just shortly. Okay, you could of course also, depending on the size of your greeting, you could put a bow at the top here. We don't have any cherry cobbler ribbons at the moment. I was looking the other day for them to do with the papers. The Christmas time is here. We have no cherry ribbon, which is really, really sad. And my retired ones aren't going very far, not far enough. But yeah, you could tie a nice little bow in there and then have a smaller greeting at the bottom, just as an alternative. Okay, so that's the end of those cards now. I just want to show you these decal dies because these are new to me. All I've done today is taken them off the, or yesterday, I took them off the card that's on the back here. This is where the sellotape was. I've pulled that off and I've mounted them onto a piece of board. Hi Zena, lovely to see you. So there are 14 on here, 14 different sizes. And just because we've got a little bit of time here, shall we just, I can't do it on that one. I have an idea of a card for you, so these won't be wasted. What shall I do? I'm going to cut one in thick white. There is a reason for it, because I will be using this. I want to just tell you what the largest size of these is. The magnets are really strong, which I love, but sometimes it can be a nuisance because you can't get them off the magnet. I had a spatula over there and it's I was using it earlier, so just trying to look for something to prise them off with. Scissors, there we go. Just want to lift this off the edge here because the magnets are really strong. So I'm going to measure it for you and so you know the size of the largest one on here. So it's at the bottom here on my mat. So just bring that up. So it's in the bottom there and the side there, and it's going up to, it's over 14, and this way it's, yeah, it's just under, that be right? That's strange. It's not an oval. On that line, the 14 is it? Yes, it's about 14 by 14 centimetres, and that's not the largest, is it? It's gone one outside it. Try this one. Thought I was picking up the biggest. This one is to 15, so 15 centimetres, and 15 centimeters. So that's your largest. So that is basically a 6-inch piece of card. So quarter of a sheet of the DSP, or quarter of an inch, or a quarter of a sheet of 12 by 12 card. So if you wanted to make something that size, brilliant sizing, and then you just jump down however many layers you want as a border. Okay, but I will go into these next time. And the smallest one on here, look how small that is. 14 comes down to, the middle one comes down to 3. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It is. It's on the centimetre. So this smallest one is 3. Okay, if I point to them, I'm giving you an extra bit of lesson here. Look, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, maybe not. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No, it's not working quite right. So it's not quite to the centimetre. This one is definitely 15. So you've got over those 14 dies, you've got 14 difference in size. So from a 3 to a 15. Okay. So yeah, it's really nice, and I can't wait to have a go with those, because you can make your layers on here as wide or as narrow as you want. So you could have a narrow from just those two, the outer two, or you could skip that one and go to the next one, and you can just build up layers. Like I say, I have got an idea for you, so that will be on Sunday. I'll have time over the weekend to play with those. So I will have a practiced version for you. Okay, but I thought you might like to see them because we've discussed them today. So I'm pleased you enjoyed those cards. And let me just get you back to me. And there we go, take that off, and there I am. There we go. Okay, I love to play with them. You can, Linda. You're coming over tomorrow, aren't you? You're doing the class with me. So they will be here if we get time. It's a busy class tomorrow, really busy, and because there's so many projects in it. If anyone is interested in the Christmas time is here, we've got a bumper tutorial, lots of things to do. And what happened on the last class, people, the ladies who were here, chose which ones they wanted to do first, and the rest, the cards they could do at home. The ones with the scraps, you could do those at home. So there's some projects you might need some steering, some help. But yeah, it's a really good class if anyone's interested. Yeah, so that's tomorrow. What else? I thought of something else to tell you. I don't think so. Looking forward to it. Yeah. So yeah, you can see them tomorrow. If you want to use those on the projects we do, then you're welcome to use anything in my studio, as always. Okay, so I will say cheerio now. It must be top of the hour. No, nearly. It's 10 to. And I will see you on Sunday.